Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
And I'm Rangru, hello, hello, hello.
And folks, we decided today to kind of go back to an old favorite, go back to Slutsk, and to see ourselves a bit of a race. Rang, who is fighting on this map?
Well, on the left-hand side in blue, we have Metalphase, playing as the Rintown Division with a Vanguard income, and on the right-hand side, we have Curbs, playing the Rintown Division with a Maverick income. And I know what you guys are thinking. You absolutely love mirror matches, and re-get it. So thought we'd give you today the mirrorest of mirror matches. I mean, in the end of the day, the Rintown Division, one of them will win.
Which will mark the first time in SD2 that Windtown actually wins a match. But I mean, there is a lot of memeable material going on already. We have a triple Flampanzer opening down to the south, to the north. We just have oodles and oodles and oodles of material.
Yeah. Holy crap, yeah, we're actually seeing Flampanzers being used, which is a unit you never see used. But in a matchup like this, especially considering the Panzer Grenadiers from Curb's side don't have Panzerfaust, they could rack in some serious kills.
Well, the biggest concern here is looking for that Jagdpanzer, the 234.
Mm-hmm.
And a super early Ju-87, which is armed with just 1,000 rounds of 790 and 792, so not really going to be too useful. Oh, wait. Interesting. To the north, we have a Jagdpanzer, which is slightly engaging some of his allied 234s as well. I say allies, but of course we know the truth of this.
And we've got the off-map artillery on the southern town, yeah. And I do like how Curves brought out the commander very early on. Definitely a bit risky. He really should maybe think about pulling them back as the Flampanzers and 234s are pushing through. But so far, I mean, if Metalphase can, keep momentum up and get out of their off-map artillery range, he might be able to get this town.
He certainly seems to be rocking this town right now, but you know what? Flampanzers, they are open trucks, and all three of them have now died.
Yeah. So you don't see them being used, because they're terrible. That's really what you can say about them. You have worse range than an SD-44, and everything in that game was much closer together in terms of map sizes.
Yes, there was. I was mildly amused by the fact of watching a Ju-87 make a strafing run with two machine guns. It's kind of like winning $2 in the lottery. It's not even winning $5, just like $2 there.
You can't even reimburse an entire ticket.
Nope.
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 He just wanted to help out.
Which I think is charming. It really is quite charming. But just a giant waste of time, really.
Yeah.
Now, I'm actually almost mildly amused as well by the fact there's a Pack 40 to the north engaging a Jagdpanzer. And despite the fact that he's got a 190 pen, he's not, for some reason, getting any kind of penetration.
Oh, he's turned off the APCR shells. Which I get. But this is the situation where you do turn them on.
Exactly. Now, looking down to the south again, well, Metalphase's initial push has been completely blunted. You can see right now all of the smoke as a rising in a smoke signal to everyone else, basically saying something akin to, yo, we dead. Mourn me later.
It's very good that he did manage to stomp out push. His commander's still alive, and I think he was pretty close to getting found out, and that would not be ideal. We've got 234s being brought in, more Ersatz trooping, everyone's favourite infantry to try and clear through this town.
I'm mildly amused by the fact that we have the 234-3s and the 234-1s facing off against each other. More or less because the 234-1s, in my mind, despite having recon optics and being decent against infantry, I don't know why I'd ever pick them if I could take a 234-3 instead.
Bigger kaboom.
Yeah. I unless I'm fighting in this particular case against, another Windhound or super light division, it's not going to be a viable, great kind of like long-term unit for me. But who knows? I'm also very, very picky about how my decks look.
Jagdpanzer.
What's that?
Yeah, Jagdpanzer in the town is really helping his push so far, shotting down the Flampanzers early on, and now he's slowly pushing through with the Ersatz trooping, backing him up. This is working pretty well so far. Curbs in this central push. If he can actually get to the other end of the town and hold it, that's a pretty huge boon because then you shut down these southern islands entirely.
We are going to see a artillery strike from the other direction from Metalphase. Not spending the extra little bit. He's going only for a 105 as opposed to the 150s.
Hmm?
But that should be a heavy enough caliber to stave this off. Did the outpensor go down? Oh no, sorry, for some reason I didn't see the outpensor at the front anymore. I was quite confused. We are seeing a slightly tentative push around the center here.
Yeah. Even though it is a mirror matchup, it is actually quite interesting seeing how both players are playing, like the same division differently. Both of them using different off-map artillery. Metalphase is optimal for earlier vetted tanks early on, while Curbs is really focusing more on the Jagd Panzers and armored cars. It's really quite cool seeing one of the things in SD2 is that you can build the same division in many different ways because it's pretty versatile for the most part with most divisions loadouts.
How would you build it?
Well, seeing that 116th has a lot of Panthers, I'd probably just Panther spam.
So you'd be much more along the lines of Metalphase, maybe building for B or C in terms of you can get more availability, but going for that Panther loadout.
Yeah,
okay.
and then getting like heavy AP or like armored recon cars and some Panzer IIIs early on just for close range fights.
I can certainly understand that. I mean, PPCs are really a necessity on most main battle tanks these days. It's been a while since we mentioned BattleTech, man.
It has been. I'm more of an AC-20 guy in a hunchback, but different strokes for different blokes.
Hey, man, that Kaliyama, it definitely is a quite sexy thing. We do have a Ju-87 with his rinky-dink 50 kilogram bombs, but an ME-109, he's gonna get the run off, but he might not make it much further than that. I think the luckiest thing he had there was that the ME-109 made a rather weird intercept course there, and I think that Mobilwagen might keep him safe. Yeah, the Mobilwagen's going to keep him safe.
Real deadly. I always have a feeling the Mobilwagen does more damage with its flat gun, even though it's like the same flat gun as a static version. But it just feels like, I think it's just because it's on a tank, I feel like it has more firepower. Like, because if the tank's moving and shooting, it gives it just a little bit of extra velocity when the shell comes out the barrel. I mean, that's how physics works, I believe.
Oh, no, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's also the rule of cool. That's also why I paint all my shells yellow.
Mm-hmm. Right, like personalized messages.
Exactly. Burn the heretic. Well, somebody just took out that Jagdpanzer to the south. I cannot decide for the life of me who that was.
Same here. It's just too much going on to really keep track, to be honest. And that's our job.
Well, every now and again, when you get old, Rang, it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
War is a young man's game.
It is. Especially RTS
Ju-87
games.
Ju-87 being called in actually on a couple of IG-18s in the center here, which is quite unfortunate for them. They've been doing a really good job kind of suppressing and keeping Metalphase's guys at arm's length, but it is too good of a target to miss. But shockingly enough, both make it out decently alright.
Yeah. That's off-map is doing a very good job of keeping back Curbs for now. At the same time, Metalphase doesn't really have much to counter push with. I think that's really more of a defensive strike because he's bringing in more of those Stukas to bomb the front line, and I think he's trying to pick up another AG-18, yes. But he's just going to be bombing nothing.
No, he's actually, following Operation Redundancy, where he makes the crater from yesterday just that much bigger.
Oh. Never mind, he lost targets. Not going to be dropping any bombs.
How about beats?
Could be doing that too. Yeah, down south here we got 2508. We've just seen all the armoured cars here being brought in to try and get this southern flank under Metalphase's control. Bringing those Pentagondiers and Earthsats trooping. But the 2508s don't have AP shells, so they're going to have a pretty tough time against the 234.
But the 75mm HE, it does actually, I don't like to say reliably, but it is possible to kill without just doing HP damage the entire way. Unfortunately, as you can see right there, it takes a little bit longer than the one shot, one kill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 234 is in a real perfect position to stop that but he is going to run into a Panzerfaust, and that is not good for your health. Never mind, Panzerfaust is just out of range, it seems.
Especially watching a Panther v Panther duel to the north that has now ended with absolutely no deaths, but can't say the same for the Ju-87 over here. The Me-109 is just way too fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, considering we're 10 minutes and so into the match, it still seems pretty even Stevens for the most part. Both sides are been pushing back and forth along its southern flank. I mean, I guess with a divisional matchup like this, things will be pretty even.
Certainly true. We are seeing the Panther A from Curbs kind of starting to really assert itself. Another Ju-87 coming back in. This Me-109 is getting real greedy, though.
Yeah. Unfortunately, from up north, there is no anti-air set up. I think he might be able to pick off that Stuka down south. I think so. He has anti-air backing him up.
Yeah, but again, that intercept curve is just brutal.
Yeah, once the Stuka goes into the dive, it's pretty much untargetable.
And realizing, of course, that discretion is a better part of valor, that's a much better call than Mobile Wagon over here from Curbs in the meantime. Good call. I think this is the last barrage coming down to the south, so the town, which has already been pretty much reduced to rubble already on this eastern side, gets pounded even more flat. So when the smoke clears, the only proper defense will be taking mortar shells and throwing them at the approaching Germans. Dude, I'm feeling like a meme moment right now. So we are gonna be chock full of these references, my friend.
These we shall be. Yeah, up north things are definitely stalemates. I mean, with both sides having like Panthers, it's pretty hard to push each other because I mean, it is a little bit difficult to penetrate each other at long range, and I guess with such even odds,
that's what she said. Sorry, that's what she said. Continue.
But with such even odds, it's kind of discouraging to try and push your tanks in an open field. Oh yeah, we've got the Jagdpanzer here trying to get some shots off, and the Pack 40 from Metalphase being brought up to try to also get some shots off.
Thing is that even if you lose the Jagdpanzer, I'm fine with that. I mean, the Jagdpanzer was able to get the critical on him, transmission damage. Now this P4 is actually doing this really weird end run, going up and around.
I actually quite like this.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure he gets line of sight from up there too.
Yeah. Yeah,
there'd be some rather delicious moment there.
I think the best thing for the Panzer IV is to keep it on the hills where he can't see downwards, and just keep it as a trap. So if anything comes up the hill, it just shoots him at point blank range.
Unless, of course, you have that Pack 40 who is just kind of slinking forwards and might see his own particular target here pretty quickly.
I don't think so. The Panzer Force is
no,
barely
it's not
deep
short,
enough.
Just, jeez.
Deep enough on that hill.
Checking back into the south, the wet noodle contest between the air sides continues.
This is probably like one of the few times where airsats have been really useful.
Well, you don't want to kill each other. These guys are your buddies. It's like the guy in the next foxhole. Pigra and Strum Pioneers. The resurgent push is going to be definitely happening in the south. You can see right now artillery in 30 seconds, and I think Curbs has gotten the timing on this pretty solid.
Yeah, but that's 380mm off map as well. I actually forgot. Rintown does access to that heavy caliber. It's pretty damn good for a tank division. It's not a very common call-in for Panzer division at all. So maybe Curbs can capture Southern Hill. I mean, really, if one side can either capture one of these towns fully, you pretty much get the other town for free, as it's usually very easy to shut down the other town.
Well, the big booms have come, and the Strum Pioneers are waiting, I think, for the last bit of smoke to clear from the Carl Gustav kind of attack. And to the north, we have a very brave Me-109 desperately trying to engage that Pack 40 before it gets taken out by the SDKFZ-71. Wait, that just here? No, it didn't. For some reason, I thought I heard that kind of sheet ripping sound of like the naval vote first, and I was like, that doesn't seem to be the right division here.
Yeah, they do have access to Panzerwerfers, but there are currently none on the map so far.
Next artillery barrage comes right on in. Might be able to catch this Jagdpanzer's P4 as they come across. Or they might just take a nice little suggestion. Pretty sure he didn't cancel it. There we go.
More 2-3-4s being brought in from Metalphase, trying to desperately secure his southern flank here. But fortunately for him, Curbs doesn't really have much left in terms of offensive firepower down south. It's really just 2 squads of P-Grens and a little bit of armor, but just a little bit.
I'm trying to think overall, what do we have here? We have Pioneer Squads, okay. Nothing too much to really be writing home about, per se. By the way, Pack 40 to the north is just, like, asking to be killed. He is engaging a Jagdpanzer. From the front, I might add, so I wouldn't be surprised if I turn my back and find him dead by the next time we go back into the north.
Yep. I got the Panzer IV. He actually managed to move a little bit onto the ridge of the hill. Yeah, gazing the Jagdpanzer at long range with a P4, not the best call.
Engaging at a short range doesn't seem particularly great either. 2 of them going down very quickly to the south, followed by a Metalphase P4. But all things when said and done, Curbs does have the slight advantage.
Yeah, I mean, in the central position, he's bringing even more Sandstrupen to try and secure this town. And same thing in Metal, bringing some more infantry, but a little bit more heavier in the Pioneers. And even though Sandstrupen are bad, they are pretty effective, I'd have to say, with Windhound, as you don't get a lot of infantry slots with the division. And so you need as much numbers as you can in the littlest amount of cards. So Sandstrupen fit that bill.
Certainly does seem to be that way. Let's try to get back into the south. We actually have this kind of light counterattack going on. The 2 SPW 234s and that Jagdpanzer. That'd be more than enough to cause some hassles here, especially as I don't think. Yeah, that off map is going to get seen and killed.
Ooh, that's a really good kill. I don't know how many off maps he got off. Maybe 1 or 2?
At least 1. I think it was 2.
Yeah. Now, if he can get his 2-3-4s and just keep hooking it down south and get to the ridgeline and put the Jagdpanzer here, boom, you can just shut down that southern bridge. And that's a pretty huge play.
It's true. Now, to the north, we're seeing kind of a mirror happening as there's a Jagdpanzer coming in now, but this Panther is very much... There's the Werfen.
There we go.
There's a Werfen.
And he's... Yeah. At long range, it's... real. I mean, it's only trying to kill 1 target. Yeah. Pack 40 is still alive, and that's really the main issue here.
So I'm watching as another ME-109 G6 takes out another Ju-87. There can't be too many Ju-87s left.
Well, they can't be. Curbs has been really on point in trying to shoot down those Stukas as they keep coming in. I think he might lose his 109 in retaliation.
Wouldn't be surprised. I admit I'm watching another Flampanzer push happening through the center. Yep, G6 goes down.
There we
But
go.
I think we're on a bit of a knife's edge here. I think this is where Curbs either breaks his opponent or gets broken.
Yeah, this is when we're gonna be entering the C phase very shortly. I mean, even though both sides are not going to be looking great in the C phase, it's definitely going to be looking much worse, or a bit worse for Curbs in this regard. And he's making a central push. It's kind of working. He's almost there. He does have the Panther in that town, which is going to be very good in stopping any more tank reinforcements being brought in, unless the enemy tank also is a Panther. But it's a G and not an A, so it does have the OPCR shells, which is a pretty big advantage. And also the commander giving them 2-star veterancy.
Forgive me, I was watching to the south as we have this P4 being engaged by this Jagdpanzer. And in turn, these 234s were just kind of coming out, coming back in, coming out, coming back in, just kind of annoying him and keeping him, basically taking advantage of that AI. And you can see right now, getting a couple criticals here might be enough to see it fall. That does, and watch this boundary swing the other way.
This has been like a really back and forth match so far. I mean, it's only really been so much on the 50-50 line, but it seems like one time Metal's going to push through and capture, and then Curves counterattacks, and it's back and forth. But I feel like it's going to come down to attrition more than anything as really getting through into C phase.
Well, the thing is that while Metalphase has the econ, I don't know if he's built built his deck for it.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if he's got a smattering of units on the off chance they can take advantage of it, but Windhound is one of those things you need to play like the wind. It doesn't blow for too long, and if you blow for too long, people stop noticing.
I mean, it's a pretty good division for that early aggression, as you do have all those armored cars and decent like Panzer 3s and Panzer 4s and the Egg Panzers, which do help out quite a bit. I know it's like a lot of Panzer divisions in this game. You can really build them for any sort of phase or any sort of income, as you see of how you can put any unit in any phase for the most part. You can do a lot. Very versatile is what I'm trying to say, with many words.
Almost versatile is watching a 234 take out a P4 from 1,000 meters, which is both death-defying and just like, dear God, how much HP did he have that he got taken out that quickly?
Those autocannons can be really quite deadly in town fights like this. That's really where they come into play. Like here in the central town, we have both Panthers just separated by a block of houses. Neither one wants to go around the corner first for very obvious reasons.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not sure I can really blame him on that one, but looks like we're getting some kind of aggression. Try to take advantage of the fact that the Panther is already engaged elsewhere with this 2-3-4-1. Actually, I really like this play by Curbs to kind of give that target.
Yep.
Regrettably, it seems that Metalphase had much a similar idea. But no.
Oh, but Curbs has moved his Panther outside the commander range, so it's no longer getting a huge veterancy bonus, but it doesn't seem to matter, yo. And if he can... Oh no, he's shooting the Panzer IV.
Which I understand. Yeah. Kill what's actually shooting you, but this is a moment I'd probably try to hard code and then just retreat then.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the AI auto-targets units aren't falling back first. But as we all know in this case, you really need to kill that Panther. And he finally does, and that Panther out the way, if Kurtz can just keep it in that position, he will be able to set off reinforcements into the town, which in turn should give him the town. And also the southern town.
Yes, southern town as well. And elsewhere you can kind of see, despite the fact that this Panther has only just died to the Northeast Panther A, there are now plenty of Panthers, a G, a D, and an A. We're slowly starting to play, a Wheel of Fortune here. Or Hangman. And we're seeing Curbs is really starting to get some momentum.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, capturing this northern forest is pretty huge, because once you fully capture it, you slap an AT gun in there, boom. You pretty much shut down the entire northern flank. So, Curbs is just managing to, just barely eke out that aggression and getting those very vital points.
You were talking about it being an attrition game here, and despite the fact that he should really be a lot lower on income, it doesn't really feel like Curbs is only on 80 points. Now, a part of that is from the fact that he's been able to keep a decent amount of troops intact, or at least, operating.
Yeah.
But, it's kind of fascinating to see that. See the smaller income Curve still having a lot more units on the field.
He's done, I think he's done a pretty good job in terms of efficient trading. And there we go, Metalphase surrenders. That'd be a good game. And yeah, it was. He traded a 1,200 point advantage over Metal, so good job, yeah.
Look at the early Jagdpanzer.
And
2 Flammpanzers, 3 more, couple of ground kills. There's what's got an SPW Petrick over here doing really well. Cultman doing really well. Panther A, ME1. These ME109 G6s. So often we take a look at those and they're just a giant waste of time, space, and money. But when you fight against things like JU-87s, they look like gods. 4 air kills already.
Yeah, they've. Yeah, thankfully, he's only shooting down Stukas. Definitely gave him the advantage in that regard. And Panther G trading really well. And losses, yeah, just looking at it, not really anything too crazy from Metalphase. But in a match like that, I mean, that's what's to be expected. It really comes down to who can trade efficiently, and Curves has managed to do that.
Indeed. But that sounds like it's about it for us today. Do you have any other pearls of wisdom?
Both of them being like the Greyhound division, we didn't actually see any Greyhounds, so I'm very disappointed.
They were whippets.
Oh.
And they were whipping it good.
I see.
But folks, with that final bad pun, I can practically hear all of you barking out in dismay. I think we're going to tuck tail and head out for the moment. So until next time, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Angru, take it easy.